Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey everybody, this is Pinch Pennies and Passports again, or P3.
Mm-hmm.
Back to build upon yesterday's topic of trimming the fat. We wanted to introduce another idea that is hand in hand. A huge way that we use to trim our own fat is by doing maintenance ourselves.
All right, so one major way that we save money, like Chad said, is by trimming the fat. And it is a way to avoid a lot of the expenses that come naturally with ownership. We buy something, we spend our hard-earned money, and the goal is to take care of it to get the most out of it. And so maintenance is a big part of that. And if you aren't equipped with the skills to do that, then the only thing that's going to be left over for you to do is to be reliant on someone else to do that. And we live in an age now where it's so commonplace to outsource maintenance, meaning pay somebody else to do it. And we're not sure if that's because of like status, like you don't want to seem poor by doing your own maintenance, kind of getting your hands dirty, or if it's a lack of time. And that's a big thing that people tell us when we talk about their finances is, oh, I don't have time, you know, with all of the other obligations that they have. And so the take-home message is, though, if we live in this type of society, it is definitely going to make it much harder for us to get ahead and to trim the fat if we continue to outsource, like for whatever it is the norm nowadays that's what you do.
Right, and a byproduct of outsourcing all of these services and not maintaining your own possessions is there's a lack of skills. People don't know how to do this stuff. They're fearful, they're intimidated of doing their own maintenance. They're fearful of getting their hands dirty in some cases, or fearful they might destroy something. But by and large, most things aren't that difficult. You become reliant on other people to fix, things that are honestly 2 or 3 minute fixes inside your own home with a quick little Google search, and you've got everything under control. And you're forced to just blindly accept what somebody tells you. If a repairman comes and tells you that this is a major catastrophe, how do you have any way to verify what you're being told is true? So this allows you to kind of check people and say, I don't think so. I'm not going for that. And you end up spending large amounts of your hard-earned cash on unnecessary maintenances and unnecessary things because you have no way to validate or verify what they're telling you. However, the inverse of that situation is when you do your own maintenance, you will reduce those expenses because you're paying yourself instead of paying someone else. And the way I like to look at this is typical repair costs are anywhere from $40 to $80 an hour. I don't know about you. I don't make that kind of money. So even if it takes me twice as long to do the job as it would a repairman, I'm still paying myself $20 to $40 an hour to do a project that needs done, one, and two, I'm developing skills in the process. I'm learning how to do something. I'm becoming more confident, and all of that keeps money in my pocket. All of these are pros to make me more capable in the future of solving these problems myself. So even if you can't fix it right now, for whatever reason, you might not have all of the equipment necessary, having a good idea of what it takes, how much it should really cost, what the problem actually is, you still need to understand those things even if you're going to pay somebody else to do it, because it's just your way to double check the honesty of this service provider. I hate that we live in a world where you can't necessarily trust what people are going to tell you, but this is unfortunately a big problem in a lot of areas where repairmen of home and auto or anything will take advantage of your ignorance.
And so what we're asking you to do, we always like to try to end this with a challenge. We want you to identify one of your monthly expenses, one that you find is reoccurring that is associated with maintaining one of your possessions. This could be your car. Automotive is a big one because we typically all have cars, and cars, just like any other machine, do need to be maintained. The next thing that we're challenging you to do is learn a skill related to that expense. And going with the my automotive example, going and learning how to change my oil, or how to change my battery, or I don't know. It could just be anything that you don't know about this particular expense. Taking the time to cultivate that by doing any quick Google search. Start by typing "how to" in any of the searches, and all kinds of information, be it videos, be it blogs, will come up that will allow you to gradually learn and acquire those skills. And we like to call this the Renaissance approach, to where you're broadening your skills, you're getting just good enough, competent enough in a variety of areas so that it can pay you money, so that you're not in a position to where you have to pay somebody else money. So take a look at your expenses. If there's anything that intimidates you or is a recurring expense, make a point to learn how to do that. If not learning how to do it, getting acquainted with it, so that if you have to pay someone else, like Chad said, you're in a position to call bluff and avoid getting ripped off and paying any more money than you have to. You learning, you acquiring skills, you being able to do your own maintenance is the way to trim these expenses to the bone, and then make sure that you have that money to reallocate to your debt or to your savings and a lot of other things that we'll be talking about as a better use of your hard-earned money.
And so an example we wanted to share with you today was an example from a few years ago. Leslie had a Jeep that was in pretty bad shape.
I love that Jeep.
But it was in bad shape.
Yes, it was.
And almost not roadworthy, but we had basically three options. We could junk the Jeep and buy a new car. Mm-hmm. We could take it to a mechanic and spend thousands of dollars, or we could attempt to fix it ourselves. So us being the do-it-yourselfers that we try to be, we took that third approach and took it to the local auto parts store. They ran all the codes for us, told us what was wrong with it basically. I bought all the parts. A few afternoons of working and getting dirty, and we drove this car for another 3 years, drove it to Canada and back, and we would honestly still be driving it had it not been involved in an accident.
So with this being said, the challenge for this episode is learn a skill. Learn a skill that will be able to be in your arsenal, so that if you have an expense that comes up, you will be able to do it yourself. So take a look at your expenses, all of your monthly expenses. Try to identify an area that you've noticed a repeat expense that you have paid for a service to be completed. And instead of paying for that service, go online, how to fix my sink, how to fix my oil, how to fix whatever the case might be, and acquire that skill. And just begin to see how DIYing these things will save you tons of money that we feel could be reallocated towards debt elimination and savings. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please, as always, like us, tell your friends about us. We want to grow this. Watch us on IGTV, on YouTube. We hope you guys enjoyed it. P3, baby.